Monday, everybody. Welcome to another episode. I said happy Monday. Happy Tuesday. Forgive me, guys. It's been one of those weeks. Welcome to another episode of the Final Whistle here on the Bama Standard. Yes, I was thinking Monday game week, but it's Tuesday game week. So we're here. We finally made it week one, and we are so excited because Florida State took a big L on the weekend, but that's not either here nor there. So we will discuss it all. It's length season here on the Bama Standard on the Final Whistle. And listen, I'm Matt Cadell, and I'm going to give it a round of my Avengers, the team we like to start up and go against. Mr. Chris James, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. Very wonderful. It's Tuesday night. I get a chance to be with you guys. So, you know what I'm saying? The best hour in my week. Don't tell that to my kids.
I heard that. And ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, you see his shirt. He's ready for the game. Daniel Petty, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm glad to be back with my boys on a Tuesday night. It's game week. Come on, man.
Game week.
Is there a better week for the male adult that loves some college football than this week? Let's go. Let's do it.
PSA to all the girlfriends and wives. You might not see us this much until the Super Bowl, but listen, the guy who will always be there for Miss Gertrude, Miss Ernestine, the one and only Dan James. How are you today?
Well, y'all know the answer to that, brother. I'm always good. You know what I'm saying? It's Tuesday night. It's game week. You know what I'm saying? We got an action-packed show. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, you see him repping the Tide. He's already in Bryant-Denny Stadium getting ready to whoop up on Western Kentucky. Call the plays. The one and only Luscion Graves. How are you, sir?
Man, we've waited a long time to get here. We've been patient. They've put in some work, and the time is here. Let's go, guys. Let's get into it. I'm excited. Let's go. Come on, let's get it.
Let's go. Let's get into it. Length season. We letting all naysayers know, and the guy who lets all naysayers know, Mr. Around the Table Sports, Mr. Bleacher Report, Mr. Ty Hayes, but we like to call him Ty. The one and only Ty Hayes, everybody. Ty, how are you, sir?
Man, can't complain. As I told all these gentlemen before, you guys can catch me in Tuscaloosa this weekend. So be sure to stay tuned for more details. Friday morning, the Bleacher Report National College Football Pick'em Show is back. I will be doing that. And after every Alabama game, you can catch me on the Bleacher Report app, giving you the post-game analysis.
I like that. And Petty will be in Tuscaloosa streaking on the quad as the good old Will
Go streaking.
We're going to the
I will be signing various parts if you need me to, whatever.
But that's the panel, guys. Like I said, this is the Final Whistle, but we would not be here without our amazing sponsor, WorkspaceSolutions.com. That is Workspace Solutions. I said .com. I meant to say Workspace Pros for Workspace Solutions. If you want to take your business digital online presence to new levels during this football season, this Tuesday or tomorrow, go to workspacepros.com for Workspace Solutions to get your digital online presence. Guys, we got a lot to talk about, but before we get started, guys, how do you feel? Let's talk about week one. We know Florida State took the L. They got a lot of Bama transfers. How do you guys feel about Brent Key, former Alabama assistant coach, going into Dublin?
Buy your stock now.
buy your stock now. Ty, I mean, just talk about that, about, that reaction, how that impact the rest of the college football year.
Give me 60 seconds on the clock and let me cook. So, first and foremost, Brent Key has 5 outright wins as a double-digit dog since 2022, which is the most in college football. Like, the guy is highly impressive. Second off, Florida State has problems. The lazy argument is blaming it all on DJ Uiagalelei, but I'll tell you what, their linebacker group looked bad. Their defensive line, that was the best in college football, didn't look like it was top 7, top 8, top 10. The offensive line got bullied. They went up against a Georgia Tech team that averaged out to, I think, the 128th team in the nation, only better than Louisiana Tech and University of North Texas, God bless their soul, in stopping teams running the football. And they held Florida State to under 3.5 yards per carry, which is exactly why. Watch Boston College this weekend. They played them close last year. Castellanos had over 300 yards through the air last year, and he was the second best running quarterback, I believe, in the ACC, or maybe in all of Power 5. I'm taking Boston College with the upset this weekend.
Chris, I want to get rapid fire. Just tell me your take about, I know Marquise Mays had a quote about, guys, Bama guys leaving, going to Florida State and all that stuff. I mean, what do you think that's got to be kind of demoralizing? A lot of those guys weren't even starting. Just want to get your take on that real quick.
Well, Bama, like, I don't know. The last time Bama lost an opener was when? Problem we were playing, Matt.
Southern, the burner.
Back when we were playing. But that's demoralizing to go out and lose your first game when you're not used to, that happening to you or whatnot. But still, though, I don't feel like it really mattered. Like, to those guys, like in their decision, they went somewhere to where they can play, get more snaps. Everybody except for Earl Little and the linebacker Murphy, Sean Murphy. I don't even think he's on the depth chart, is he?
I don't know.
God forbid. After what I watched on last Saturday, they just need to scrap whatever they're throwing out there right now and give him a chance. It can't be worse.
Right. Yeah. Right. I wholeheartedly agree. He can't be much worse than that. But
it was terrible.
Yeah, man. But it's just when you come from a winning culture and then you go into something like that. Not to say that Florida State is going to lose a lot of games, but when you're used to just winning and dominating and stuff like that, losses like that, like the Georgia Tech, come on, man. I know they're not a bad school, they're up and coming, but still, Florida State's not supposed to lose Georgia Tech. It's just not supposed to happen first game of the season. So, especially with the hype they had coming into the season. But other than that, though, it's just a tough pill to swallow, especially when they're gonna watch Bama kick tail on Saturday. So,
shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay, right. Patty. Before I get to you, real quick, before we get in our first topic, Patty, who should be on Week 1 upset alert?
In college. Penn State University needs to be watching out for West Virginia. They are going to West Virginia, and much like Georgia Tech, West Virginia got better as the season got on last year. West Virginia that's a tough place to play, man. It gets very weird when you get over in West Virginia. But 8.5-point underdogs at home. I like West Virginia to take Penn State out quick.
Chris,
I got one to hammer Notre Dame over A&M. Notre Dame.
Hey, people, do not give your money away. If you don't give your money away and do what,
let me go get my wallet.
Please, A&M is going to beat Notre Dame. Book it.
Notre Dame returned 6 snaps on the offensive line going up against one of the most vicious defensive fronts in all of college football. They're going to get mauled.
Y'all heard it here first.
All right, don't do it. Don't do it.
Y'all gonna be like, man, give that man a wizard hat. I'm telling y'all.
Okay.
You got Notre Dame, Chris?
I got Notre Dame.
Listen.
I got Freeman.
I'm now doubling up on that.
Bad take of the year.
And it has more to do with, I think, how good a Freeman is.
Yeah.
How good I think Freeman is.
Can I double how bad Texas A&M based off what Chris just said on the show? I want 1,000 now. Thank you.
I am not trusting A&M, man. I just don't trust them, dog. I do not trust them.
Justin, give me the solo cam. Give me the solo cam.
This isn't about trust. This is about dudes and
Give me. He said he needed a wizard hat. Okay. So I went and got a wizard.
Oh,
Do
that
not.
guy.
Gryffindor, Ravenclaw.
Listen.
Todd,
You know, it's
I got
been a
it on you.
while.
Let's go.
It's been a while. So Grandalf's hat needs a little bit of help. If you're out there and you have the help to get it standing, there you go. Listen here.
Me precious.
And it fell. Listen, that's not the point. Notre Dame, I get it. I like Freeman, but they are so overmatched up front. I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like. And they are going to Kyle Field. That's a rough one.
Right.
I like it.
I do not trust A&M.
Luscion and Dan, question for you all before we get to our first topic. Should those dogs in Athens be on upset alert in Atlanta, Georgia?
I'll take that first. No. Simple. No. I just don't believe in Dabo. I don't believe in Dabo. I don't think he'll have his team ready to play. So no. Short answer, no.
Luscion, before I give it to you, Miami or Florida? I know you don't give nothing but the time, but who you got? Which one should be on upset alert?
Oh, between Miami and Florida?
Yes.
It's like watching two ugly girls.
Florida's winning that game, by the way, if y'all want an update on that one.
You got Florida beat Miami?
I got Miami.
Absolutely.
So I got
Florida's not going to have a bad record because their schedule sucks. They're not going to be as bad. Miami sucks.
I agree with that.
No, Miami don't suck.
Yeah, they do.
Miami
Mario Cristobal all of a sudden learned how to coach since last year. Horseshit. Yeah, hell.
I think that game's going to be interesting.
I don't know. I don't ever really like to just stay neutral in situations like this, but those are two ugly orange schools going at it. Like Dan said, that's just watching like two ugly people fight over a Pop-Tart at lunch when he was a sophomore. It's just not something I want to see. I mean, I'm going to watch it painfully, but you know what? Give me the school that I can't. I'm good.
All right.
Stay away from that one.
Well, we'll just try to get the juices flowing, everybody. But, guys, let's get to the main event, the Alabama Crimson Tide. We know, fans, that's what y'all are here on. This is the Bama Standard. We just had to get a little ball talk out, a little reaction, a little predictions going on. But, guys, I'm going to leave it to my guy talking the Tide with Ty Hayes. And he's going to talk about some important things for a position group on the defense for this matchup. Ty, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so when we think of Western Kentucky, I know everybody thinks of TJ Finley, the experience he has in the SEC with LSU, with Auburn, and then going to Texas State, where he actually played Kane Womack in South Alabama last year. They lost their starting quarterback, did Western Kentucky. They lost their leading wide receiver. They did a good job in the transfer portal. We'll unpack all of that. But the position that you need to watch out for Alabama's defense is that wolf position rushing the edge. Why? Because one of the issues I saw during A-Day, and actually, guys, you go back, you don't have to go far. First play in A-Day was a run where the running back took a big gain because the edge was not set. Western Kentucky's running back has got some moves. He's not going to beat you on the interior because he's a smaller back, and I really like the depth that Alabama's defensive front plus linebackers have. But if you allow him outside the tackles, that's where I think he could actually do a bit of damage. That's where I turn my attention to the wolf position and to the bandit. I'm not as worried about the bandit, but Q-Rob is a guy who's got a lot of potential, but on that first play in A-Day, he was the guy who they trapped. They didn't block him. They they gambled and said, we bet your aggression is going to carry you inside and we're just going to run right around you. Lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. So we have got to set the edge. We have got to contain the edge and force that run game on the interior, nullifying it. When we actually get into talking about what they bring from an offensive passing perspective, know the name Kisean Johnson. He's coming in. He has 793 yards last season at his last stop. He looks to be the guy replacing the guy that just got drafted in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. But they also have 2 more names in that wide receiver room that are good players. Dalvin Smith, Easton Messer. Both guys are talented, but I expect this Alabama secondary to handle business so long as you can get home to TJ Finley and contain the run.
I like it. Anybody else want to add to this? Luscion?
I can piggyback on for a second. And even more so, Ty was talking about Kisean Johnson from Alabama State. They've got another transfer and K Moore.
Coy Moore, yeah.
And he was from LSU. And crazy enough, he was at LSU with Finley and at Auburn with Finley. They're like lifelong transfer buddies. But with that said, he's got some familiarity there. If they're going to pressure Alabama at all, it's going to be to test this untested secondary. And and that I think is their strength, is their wide receivers. I want to say Finley's a strength. He's tall. He's got everything you would want him to, but he's on his 4th team. You're a bust when you're on team 4. So, can he push the ball against the secondary? Who knows? But I think the wide receiver position is one that could potentially give problems to an untested secondary, making score a few points and get them a few times.
Sean?
I'm excited to see the rotation that they're going to put together, because I know we're probably not going to see a lot of it. So, or at least different packages, but I at least want to see how they're going to line up and how it's actually going to work within this defense. And like Ty alluded to, and Petty, like this could be a dangerous, possibly game-breaking position if we play it right, or it could be a game-killing position. So I'm interested to see what Christian Robinson and the boys been doing, because this is one of my favorite defensive positions, and let's face it, it's a trench guy, so let's get it. I'm excited to see it.
Let's go. Chris, Dan, anything you want to add on this topic?
Yeah, I like Ty said, I'm intrigued to see, what we're gonna do, as far as containing the run and keeping TJ Finley in the pocket. And a bigger question is, I'm gonna set the over/under at 150 passing yards, because TJ Finley has yet to pass for 150 yards against Alabama. I think at LSU is 144. Then the Bryce Young comeback game, he passed for like 137 at Auburn. So, but he's a big guy. So when you get to him, you got to get him down. He's 6'7", 260 pound pushing, I think. So that's going to be the question. Can we set the edge against the run, and can we contain him in the pocket?
I agree. So, guys, let's kind of stay on Western Kentucky and kind of dive into their impact players. Ty just mentioned the big-time receiver that they have. They have a pretty solid receiving core. We mentioned TJ Finley. We know his impact, being familiar with Alabama, playing against, I just think with Kane Womack being able to coach against Finley last year and having some experience, we do have Brian Ellis, who used to be at Western Kentucky or whatnot. I think there is some familiarity for guys to fly around. But, guys, let's talk about players that we need to know from Western Kentucky, besides the ones that Ty mentioned. And I'll leave it up to you guys.
Yeah, I gave you mine. I think their wide receiver room is pretty decent. I think it's a great first test, especially for a young cornerback room, experienced quarterback. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much where you're looking, right? Is that wide receiver room to be the room that is the one that I think is going to test us, and I think that the edge position could do that. And Joshua, I 100% agree. Kisean Johnson, very talented.
Yeah, I agree.
Chris?
Ramsey Birmingham. Go, Chris.
They have a left guard, Quintavious Leslie, who's like the best player on that O-line. He's a starter. He's a star on the inside, so it'll be good to see guys like James Smith go up against him. And just because I know Keenan's going to work whoever lines up in front of him. But that next wave that you have to have that depth behind those starters, behind Keenan and Otis, those next group of guys like James Smith and those young guys, I would love to see, how they stack up against him. He's a pretty good player with a chance to play on Sundays.
Dan?
Yeah. Quintavious Leslie, I think, Chris, I would say he's probably the best player on the team, considering what they have returned. They lost a lot, so we don't really know what we're going to get with them. So I think they're going to try to, establish the run, counters, whatever they do. And they're going to see where we're at. They're going to test us physically. So I want to see how we stand up. That's been my question all along about this new defense is, our ability to stop the run. I want to see us have a dominating performance against the run.
I agree. I think it's important. Alabama under Coach Saban Alabama would have the psychological advantage before they got on the field. Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see how Alabama reestablish that, because teams are going to say, oh, Coach Saban's not there. They're not the same team. So I want to see, can Alabama football reestablish more of that psychological dominant, make Alabama football scary to play against. I think that's important. We need to kind of establish this week, definitely going into next week. South Florida was going to be a challenging game, and then up to Wisconsin. Petty, you got anything you want to add, kind of impact players?
Yeah, I don't think we can add many more players because let's be real, man. We're just digging at this point on Western Kentucky. But I believe y'all brought up good points with like Leslie, and I mentioned earlier, the untested secondary. Well, one way to help an untested secondary is to have a damn dominant defensive line. And if Keon Keeley and Overton and those guys have a good day against Leslie, that's going to take a lot of pressure off that secondary if you're not giving TJ Finley much time to throw the ball. And like Dan said, the dude don't throw for under 150 yards in his career during a game. So I think that's going to be a big matchup. If Bama can dominate that Leslie position, I think it's going to make the secondary look better. And I'm just going to think it's going to make the defense look more dominant as a whole.
I agree. So guys, you got to be ready for the Hilltoppers up there in Western Kentucky on Saturday. So, guys, let's shift over to the danger zone with Luscion. And Luscion, you're going to help discuss guys or position groups that need to step up with a target on their back. I thought you were going to have the Top Gun music. Danger zone.
I don't know where the cue is at, but we'll get into it. Here's what we're going to get into. This week, I got Devonta Smith. He's a Mack truck at 6 feet tall. He's a redshirt junior who had to go through a long process due to injuries and some ailing otherments, but he's made a breakthrough. He's running with the ones. He has energy that the team is contagious. It's infectious. He is decisive in his movements, and when he makes moves on the field, his teammates respond. He's not the leader out there, but he's the guy that starts it. He's the guy that energy keeps everybody up. He's a positive guy, and he's a leader to these freshmen who he's helped bring along in the process and learn what it means to be an Alabama football player. I put him in the danger zone because it's his time. A lot of people aren't looking for him to succeed, and that's why I'm looking for him to succeed. He has a breakout season. I'm telling you what, Alabama's going to be dangerous, folks. Number 2, this is a new guy, Parker Brailsford. Now, he came from Washington. A whole bunch of people are doubting him because, let's face it, everybody doubted Washington because, they're from the North. Can the Northern boy come down and play with the big boys in the South? Well, he added 20 pounds and he beefed up a little bit. And I, for one, think he's going to lead the juice squad in nothing but success. He's going to open up lanes. He's going to plow defensive lines to the left, to the right, because we got a stable for running backs that can make moves and that are dangerous with the ball in their hands. So they don't need much space, but I'm telling you what, Parker's going to lead them to clear it out. What you guys got? Anybody else got an impact player they're looking for?
I do.
Well,
Dan?
before we go around, what was your number? Because I love taking notes on everything. What was your number one? My darn internet lagged out. And so I got your analysis, but not the player.
Devonta Smith.
Love it.
Dan?
I'm gonna give you mine. I'm gonna give one on offense, one on defense. First one is I'm gonna say LT Overton. On defense, can you, from the bandit position, be able to get to the quarterback, get them down on the ground? This should be your breakout. We've been hearing about you, throughout the spring and summer. Been hearing good things. We want to see you. Have that breakout game. That's what Bama's been looking for, for a couple of years, that dominant interior lineman, and on offense, it's going to be a familiar face. It's going to be Caden Proctor, because I don't want to see, I'm not putting pressure on, the first time we drop back and we give up a sack, straight on the speed rush, what that may do for morale or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, let's see his progression, against the speed rush. I'm looking for that, so I want to see us come out first of all and establish the run. Let's not just get straight to the straight drop back, get behind the chains. So let's break the guys in easy. Let's hit guys in the mouth. Let's go back to that for a while.
I like that. Let's go, Chris.
All right, I have two guys. On offense, it's Emmanuel Henderson. It's do or die for him, because if he gets lost in the shuffle, he may as well hit that portal. So it's time for the do or die. The defense is Jamarian Latham. It's not because of where he's at. It's because it's his senior year. You know what I'm saying? So if you want an NFL future, you're going to have to stand out a little bit and make some plays. So one for one reason, and the others for the other reason. Those are two guys that I think is do or die for. In the danger zone.
In the danger zone. I'm going to give you mine real quick. Two words. Tim Smith. I think it's about time we need to see Tim Smith be that alpha male dog that we saw, the big time recruit coming out of Florida. I think the time is now. He needs to set the tone for the season. And really get Alabama's front seven to having that dominant rotation, kind of setting that attitude that I mentioned earlier. Petty?
Yeah, man. I want to see the defensive line set the tone. I want to see them take over the game and dominate, because I think that'll take it. It makes every aspect of the defense look better. And the one I want to see, and Dan, I'm sorry if this is the one you said, I kind of missed it. Jaheim Otis. I'm ready to see him take that step. Is that who you said, Dan?
No, that's not.
Okay. Otis is one, man. I think as Bama fans, we've been waiting to see just have that explosive season. And we thought it was going to be last year, dealt with a little bit of injuries, kind of injury as he's on, but he's in shape. I want to see Otis and that defensive line be the one on that line to take that step and really damn dominate. And on the offense, this one will not really step up, do or die, but I want to see what happens at offensive tackle position between Formby and Pritchett, man. I want to see what guy if anybody kind of steps in this game and asserts themselves as the leading man for that role.
Hey, isn't it refreshing that we're playing like our season opener at 7 o'clock on ESPN, as opposed to that 12 o'clock Jefferson Pilot kickoff?
All right.
It's better than that.
4 o'clock. You still halfway sleeping, take a nap.
Without a doubt.
It's better than what CBS is doing on 2:30. They're playing
Akron and Ohio State.
Ohio
my
State.
God.
What? I'm like, that's what I understand about a Buckeyes. I know I'm getting off in the left field, but like, if you're a top prospect, why do you want to go to Ohio State and play against Akron and all these non-competitive games for half of the year? I mean, to me, it makes no sense. I just had to get that off.
I just can't bring myself to watch that. I'll probably turn on Wheel of Fortune or something.
No, I'll be watching Miami, Florida.
I'll be watching Murder, She Wrote.
Miami, Florida. Hey, Seth McLaughlin just couldn't get away from Gary Danielson, huh?
Ty Hayes.
5 years with him.
Ty.
Yeah, I think when I look at this, it's not necessarily do or die for me, right? I'm going to take more of Petty's approach here. and just guys that I'm ready to see step up. I'll go defense first. Damani Jackson. Young secondary, specifically young cornerback room. Guys, I really love this safety room. The more I watch, the more research I do in between Red Morgan, in between King Mack, in between Keon Sapp, in between Malachi, all these names you have at the safety, Cam Howard, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., not worried about that. But cornerback, Damani Jackson is the most experienced starter that we have, assuming that Xavier Brown beats out Deshaun Jones. He's a guy that, has all the ability in the world, but was hurt and then played for Alex Grinch, which might as well make you double hurt because those Alex Grinch defenses are terrible. He's got the ability. Want to see him step up. Super athletic guy. On the offense, I don't know how we made it this long. Well, once again, y'all were doing do or die, and it's not necessarily that. But for me, Jalen Milroe. Once again, this isn't do or die, but at the same time, he now has Nick Sheridan, Brian Ellis, Kalen DeBoer, all in his ear. He now has a wide receiver coach and Coach Shepard. Did y'all hear Coach Shepard basically send shots at the former staff saying, we've got to teach these guys how to run routes? Wow. You don't think that doesn't affect the passing game as well? So you now have Parker Brailsford, who's going to be able to actually snap to Jalen Milroe because Milroe's cadence isn't going to be an issue with Parker Brailsford. You have an offensive staff that is light years better than the previous offensive staff at every single position, minus running back coach, because we were very lucky to retain Robert Gillespie. So once again, it's not do or die, but someone to step up. Jalen Milroe has all the ability in the world. Highest returning player in the nation in terms of Heisman votes last year. He could put it all together this year and bring it home.
I agree. It's time to – I know we said impact players, but we were kind of getting in. It's time to put up or shut up. It's do or die, and I'm glad y'all did an amazing, amazing job with those players. You can see the passion that we have for the Crimson Tide to roll and get back to that Bama standard, just like the Bama Standard Network. Guys, so let's shift gears to when you're in Tuscaloosa this weekend watching Ty on the quad. It's going to be a little warm. It's going to be a little hot. You're going to need something to wipe the sweat off before you walk into Bryant-Denny Stadium and go say roll Tide at those Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Guys, what better way to beat the heat and the scream roll Tide than Tidal towel? Get you a Tidal towel, the amazing Tidal towel as you see on the screen. Go to wetwillsports.com, get you a Tidal towel. You can get a couple of them for the season. You might want to put out a new one next week for South Florida, but it's the Western Kentucky week. We're all focused on Western Kentucky. Get you one before Saturday at wetwillsports.com. Get you an amazing Tidal towel. Use the promo code STANDARD. That's STANDARD. So, guys, let's shift gears, flying to the Caribbeans on an island with Chris and Matt. Come on, welcome to On an Island with Chris James and Matt Cadell.
I'm on the phone with Saban, dog. Hold on, he's booking me.
On it now.
Okay, Nick. Yeah, book that flight. Yeah, I'm on. Okay, yes, sir.
Tell Cedric Burns I say hello. So guys, this is On the Island with me and Chris. Chris, let's talk about game one. Let's talk about our experience game one. It's going to be an adjustment for a lot of these highly touted freshmen. But listen, we kind of went through this at Alabama, under Shula having his first game. I went through it twice with Coach Saban having his first game. Chris, let's kind of connect the pieces and discuss our experience. What's it like going into week one, game one in Bryant-Denny, under a new system, under a new coach, and kind of discuss, things that the players might be experiencing, here on the island?
Man, let me tell you. Well, it's gonna be a little different without Nick Saban, so it's gonna be a little looser. But man, my first game was against UCLA, in Bryant Denny. And what I noticed, man, was the speed of the game. Like, Jesus, man. It's like when it's game time, man, it's another level of speed that you've never seen before coming off the high school level. It takes you like a few plays to adjust because, man, I'm talking about it comes at you fast, man. And it's something that you can't, like, you scrimmage and fall camp and do all that, but it's not the same as game speed. And the reason for it is because game time, those guys' legs are fresh. They're back up underneath them. Like while you're in camp, you're dragging your heavy legs, legs that we used to call them. Your legs are heavy, so no matter how much you practice, you won't understand it until game time because you got the extra juice in front of all those people, man. And as a freshman, man, out there at the time it was 85,000. Now it's like 101, 102,000. Man, it can be intimidating if you're not ready for the moment, man. Especially for an opposing team coming in. Like, I feel sorry for those freshmen from Western Kentucky they have to play. It's going to be like something you can't prepare for that, man. But the juice and energy, man, it's like now it's go time because like around the end of that second week of camp, fall camp, third week, man, you ready to call your mama, tell her come get you. Like, you know how it was, Matt.
Yeah, and I'll give you my experience. I never forget my first. I give you Shula, then Saban. So first game, freshman year, we playing in Legion Field in Birmingham. We're playing South Florida of all teams. And I was so jacked up, dressing out, all that stuff. I remember coming out for warm-ups, and I was just such on a high, so much emotion running through that I had like wore myself out. I was already tired before we even started like running routes. But just to see the game, how fast everything was, that's a big adjustment. I know those freshmen are going to go out, and I got a great Saban story for you all. So Saban's first game, we played Western Carolina. Yeah, Western Carolina. And so, we're used to, you still got a lot of old Shula guys and the way Shula did things. And this is when I knew Saban and them. So we come out for warm-ups. And, we're kind of just like going through the motion, kind of like 75%. Nobody's really going 100%. And I never forget, we come back in the locker room and Saban chews us out. Every coach was getting, he was like, we don't warm up like that. We go 110%. He chewed us out so much. All the coaches was just getting in our grill. We were just like, oh my gosh, this Saban guy is the real deal. So, I mean that he was still instilling his program, but that's just a quick aside of Saban's first warm up. How we were just kind of going through the motion. Then we get in, he chews us out. But yeah, it's a lot.
Love that
with the new coach, new regime. I know going from Shula to Saban, going to Saban. Coach Saban had us so prepared that we were already confident, so we weren't nervous. And I think that's what Kalen DeBoer has done. You hear him at press conferences. He discusses, confidence is in preparation. I think these guys that put in the work and the preparation. I'm just excited to see these guys go out there and play. So Chris, let's go.
Wait, hold on, Matt. I want you to expound on that a little bit, man. How did y'all react when again, y'all had gone through a regime that was kind of lax? How did y'all react when Saban came and ripped that ass?
Like, you just get chewed out and just like, okay, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Like, you just like, oh, snap. It's just like no other. I mean, it's just a total night and day 360. But that's how Saban runs. He's more intense. He has a purpose and a plan for everything. Warm-ups is just way more physical. It's not as lax as it was. It's very intense. It's dang near like a practice under Saban. Once you get towards the end, you kind of know. But at the beginning, it is like very intense. Like it gets you physically ready, psychologically ready, and just focused to really go out there and handle business. So that was a big difference. But yeah, Coach Saban, he plays no games out there, guys. So. Yeah. Any other questions, comments, anybody? want me to discuss regarding that transition.
Did y'all get it right the next warm-up?
Oh, did we? Yeah, shoot. Did we? We from there on out, we knew how intense and how safe. Like, I just remember every coach everybody was showing everybody out. It was the craziest experience. I was just like, oh snap, this is
man, it's got real.
Yeah, it's got real.
Yeah.
Damn.
I wonder, did Coach Saban give Georgia Tech that talk?
He might have. Listen, Saban said he had Georgia Tech as a sleeper in the ACC, so he kind of knew something about that. But yeah, so we're gonna shift from game one. Hopefully that let you all know what the experience is going to be like for these new players and new coaching under DeBoer and all that stuff. But guys, we on the island, we like to highlight wide receiver, DB. Listen, I'm going to highlight Jeremy Bernard. I just think, he comes in, the transfer from Washington, the receiver. I think he's going to be, as we mentioned, that comfortable, safety pocket for Jalen Milroe in order for him to, take that next step in this offense. And I think he adds a lot of leadership. I think he adds a lot of veteranship. I think he understands how Coach Shepard and DeBoer want this system to work. And I think he's going to be a great mentor to bring on the young guys like your Rico Scotts, Ryan Williams, Bubba Hampens. So I think you're going to see a few plays from Jeremy Bernard on Saturday. And guys, I got to ask you guys, who do you guys think is going to make the first receiving touchdown this Saturday in Bryant-Denny?
Ooh, Ryan Williams, cuz.
Rapid fire. Chris going with Ryan Williams. Dan?
Jeremy Bernard.
Jeremy Bernard. Ty?
Kendrick Law.
Oh, Kendrick Law. Let's go. Dan?
Bernard.
Yeah.
My next pick was Law, so I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to go with one of the ones I was going to go with.
Let's go.
Go with the wild card.
Let's go, Luscion.
Nah. Give me Justice Haynes on a receiving touchdown.
Ooh. Oh, and man, at the same time, Angel Garcia said the same thing. That's maybe there's some cosmic stuff, man. Maybe the pick.
Hey,
the cosmic power of my energy is very great, Petty. Very, very great.
What you saying, Chris?
And watch it turn out to be Kobe Prentice.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking Kobe Prentice. Chris,
you heard the Darius Fountain.
Chris, I'm gonna let you get a DB that you want to highlight the secondary group. Who you think is gonna get that first pick in Bryant-Denny on Saturday?
The alpha of the DB crew, Malachi Moore, will get back to his old self and will set the tone and play like his hair is on fire. He's healthy, he's refreshed, rejuvenated, and he's the unquestioned leader of not only the back end but the defense. So he knows it's his time, and this is his money season that's going to get him picked up by Friday night of the NFL draft at the latest. It's starting Saturday.
Okay. So Chris, you got to ask who you think is going to get the first pick Saturday.
Malachi Moore.
Malachi, you doubling down on Malachi Moore?
Doubling down. My boy's going to come up big early in the game. Watch now, I'm telling you. Malachi Moore.
Okay. Ty?
Sab.
Sab. Ooh, Fallon says it's going to be a pick 6 before half. I like that. Patty?
Keon Sab.
Let's go. Dan?
Man, y'all tripping. Everybody knows it's going to be Red Morgan.
Oh, man. Throwing a sneaker in there, Red Morgan.
Love it.
Luscion?
You go in a different route. I know it.
You're obviously right. This guy is going to erase the memory of the former number 2. Give me Xavier Brown.
Oh,
house call.
Listen, I'm gonna go with this guy. We mentioned him earlier. I'm gonna go with Damani Jackson. I think this guy is looking, like Ty said earlier, he's looking to see this guy prove something. I think Devonta Jackson's gonna make that first pick in Brian Denny. Let's go, Chris.
Hold on now, Lou. What former number 2 that you gonna? I know you ain't talking about the man, Mr. Certain.
No, dude.
Oh,
No, you said
Chris,
they gonna forget
damn.
about it.
Who just wore number 2?
Oh, I'm tripping. I'm
Yeah.
tripping.
You
I'm
went
thinking
over
about
his
corner.
head.
I'm
You threw it
sleeping,
too
man.
high. You threw it too high, Lou.
I'm sleeping.
It was uncatchable. Uncatchable.
My
Hey,
bad.
I'm thinking position group.
You watching too much huddle film on your next.
Hey, but
I have been. But the number 2 I just saw last week, I don't ever want to see him again.
I want to pull a Chris and give
night.
another one. I want to pull a Chris and give another one. Tim Keenan for a big boy touchdown. Big juicy. Rumble down the sideline with a deflection.
Pause. Big juicy pause.
I love that. But I'll say this, going back to kind of rounding this topic out, what I want to see from the wide receiver position group is, you guys mentioned earlier, Todd mentioned how Shepard kind of took shots at the previous coaching staff. I want to see the route running. I want to see us catch balls, and I just want to see be impactful either with the ball or without the ball to bring back that, old Alabama receiving unit where we had the Waddles, the Ruggs, the Devontae, the Judys. I think we need to bring back that wide receiver standard. Guys, what else do y'all want to see from the receiver group?
Can y'all imagine those guys under this regime, those receivers?
Oh, man.
I want to see Caleb Oden catch his first pass so I can lose my ever-loving shit.
Time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see them under Shepard's tutelage.
Yeah. Let's go, Luscion. Anything you want to see from the receiving group?
You know what there is? I want to see them bring back the mentality of an Alabama receiver. I want them to bring back the discipline and the other sheer love for the game and show that passion in their craft. That's what I think Coach Shepard brought back to this program. He brought back the energy. He brought back the decisiveness that is needed to be the type of receiver that we've had historically at this great university. And I'm just excited to see them what they do. Like, we've all been talking about this in camp. Let's let them play. I want to see him roast somebody. I want burnt chicken. Let's go.
Dan, anything you want to add about this?
Yes, I want to see, what they could do. I want to see if Milroe can hit him in stride, the run after the catch. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more rack and yak, you know what I'm saying? So from the receiver, I want to see, can they, get out and block in space, without missing so many blocks as we tended to do a lot last year. Those two things I want to see from them.
Got it. Chris, before we go to the secondary, we know what you want to see from the secondary. Listen, from spring game, I just want to see the defense as a whole not have any missed tackles. I want to see us put the physicality. I think we kind of ironed out some issues regarding the second scrimmage, but I want to see the secondary come up and initiate that physicality of what we known for Alabama's defense to go. So, Chris, what do you want to see from the secondary?
I want to see the physicality. I want to see receivers get rerouted. Get the hands on the receiver, man. Make just make it life of living heck on them. Just trying to get open. Like back to the days when we had the Kirkpatrick, because the Money Jackson reminds me he's a big physical corner, But those guys that are going to be in a slot, that's going to try to that is going to be in charge of protecting the seam, getting hands on the receiver like Saab and Morgan, those guys. I want to see them physical, man. I want to see them like punish guys, just punish receivers, trying to get open, man. And because we're gonna play a lot of zone, so it's gonna be a lot of rerouting and just little tidbits like that. I'm gonna be paying attention to how if they're getting hands on those guys. It's coaching me. That's the coaching side. But I just want to see those boys come up and strike, man. When was the last time Alabama defense was feared? Like literally feared.
Oh, I used to fear watching Pete Golden, on 3rd and goal.
Run the same.
Yeah,
couple
you're
deep.
running out of alcohol.
2017.
With
the
that
2017
top
last
10
time they
defense he
scared.
kept putting out.
Yeah.
2017.
Anything else anybody want to add to this regarding what they want to see from the secondary besides physicality?
Most magical
Dan?
thing ever.
Yeah, I want to see, can we, at sometimes a lot of points last year, can we maintain backside integrity? Can we fill the running lane, from the Husky position? On the running back, the tight end leap, can we maintain, the misdirection, our integrity in the misdirection? Michigan killed us with that, a lot. So that's what I want to see from the secondary. Can we stay home? The play might come to you. Let's not try to chase the play down on the other side of the field. Let's stay home. I want to see a little more discipline in that aspect.
Luscion?
I want to see one thing, and this is going to go for not just the secondary. This is going to go for our whole defense. A lot of times over the last couple seasons, we've been able to get in the backfield and make plays. What we haven't been able to do is finish those plays. So I'm gonna say this to the defense. I want to see them finish the play. It means nothing if you get back there if you don't finish the play. You have to get him on the ground. You can't let him drag you 5 to 6 yards, as we've seen, and that's just not our secondary, as we've seen last year with a couple of our corners getting drugged by quarterbacks. It's the year before when you got linebackers getting pushed by running backs. You got to make the play. You have to finish. I want to see our secondary, most importantly, our defense, finish.
Ty, Petty, anything you want to add that you want to see from the secondary?
No, I think they covered it.
Y'all got it.
All right, cool.
We're good.
So, guys, speaking of Western Kentucky, Alabama, Saturday in Bryant-Denny, let's give scores, predictions. Guys, do y'all have scores, predictions, and who you think is going to be the player of the game? And let's start with Mr. Ty Hayes.
Let me see. Let's go 48-10. And we'll go Milroe, player of the game.
Petty.
Man, I'm gonna go from the gambling side. I'm actually very interested because the line's 31.5. In the Saban era, Saban would get up. This would kill gamblers because Saban would get up 35 points and just put the brakes on. And if the backups kicked their ass, you covered. If they didn't, you didn't. So I'm really interested to see what DeBoer does if they start getting up to where the line, what they think that spread's going to be. Does he keep pressing it to score 50-60, or does he hold off like Saban? With that said, 52-21, right on that line of 31. I'm going with the Tide. K-Law is the player of the game.
Let's go. Luscion.
This is going to be I think it's going to be more of a physical game. I think we're going to see Jalen Milroe do some things, but I think it's going to be mostly us imposing our will because that needs to be established. Prediction: give me 54-6.
I like it.
Just because I feel something might get broken, something might get damaged, but it won't get broken. Somebody will make a play. Somebody will get we might let something go, but I feel like we'll make up for it, and they'll get a couple field goals off. Player of the game, Justice Haynes.
Let's go. Dan.
Yeah. It is game week. We're going to see the Tide roll. We're going to see the Tide roll in a big way.
Wow.
Tide roll to a 41-10 victory. And I give the player of the game. This guy is going to start his Heisman campaign.
Wow.
Y'all don't hear me. You don't hear me, Van. You don't hear me, Keith. You don't hear me, Darius Fountain. Let me tell you. The Tide is going to roll, and Jalen Milroe is going to start his Heisman campaign Saturday in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
I like it. Let me go real quick before
That boy good.
doors
boy
of the
good.
church open. Let me
He
go
took him
real
to the
quick
upper room.
before Chris. I think it's going to be a little bit different because I think new staff, new headsets, new time clock. You got a lot of different rules going into the game. I think the game will probably be 34, 38 to 10. I still think that they'll be ironing out some kinks, trying to get on the same page to the flow of the game. And I think my player of the game will be Jalen Milroe. Chris, the floor is yours.
Did y'all not see that offensive screen? How well oiled they were. These boys about to hang a 50-piece, man. It's gonna be 59-10. Bama big. Milroe's gonna have a big game. Haynes gonna have a big game. In the whole receiving room, we're gonna have 5 different guys with at least 40, 50 yards receiving. And on the defense side of the ball, you got to set the tone, man. It's time for I talked about Malachi Moore on the back end, but it's time for Agent Zero, Deontay Lawson, to go ahead and put his stamp on his best foot forward to be in that first round on in next April's draft. He's gonna be the tone setter.
Chat, let us know your predictions, who you got, scores, players of the game, and either way, we want the Tide to get a big victory. Do y'all think Alabama's going to show so much? I know Saban would kind of be strategic. You think they're going to lay it all out before South Florida and all that good stuff, and Wisconsin, or you think they're going to be very, show a little here, be kind of conservative?
I think they're going to gradually move it along as the year goes on.
Okay, perfect. That's what I need to hear. So, guys, we got to send it to my guy who's petty himself. He's so petty. He's got it. His last name is actually Petty. So, Petty, what do you have on your mailbag?
Well, man, Matt, it's a good question. Good that you asked that. The mailbag was so popular last week, and I give the Auburn fans credit. They got the message. They didn't. No more hate mail and no more farmers only in the profile. But that did, I guess, spurn other fans to send me questions through email about the SEC, Alabama, and college football in general. And it's like, you know what? Well, I'll just answer your questions. Why not? If you're going to keep sending, y'all going to keep sending the love, I'll give you the love back. So Bobby from Chickasha, Oklahoma. If I said that wrong, Bobby, you can let me know in email. He says he's excited about Chickasaw. He's excited about his Boomer Sooners joining the SEC. God. He's trying to learn the new traditions. Well, it's spelled Chickasha. Chickasaw. Chickasaw, is that how you said? Hell, I don't know.
Chickasaw.
Okay. Anyway, Chickasaw, Chickasha. See, you got me. Hey, man, I can't get the weird towns they write from. But anyway, he says, I'm learning all these traditions. How can LSU and Clemson both be Death Valley? Well, that's a good question, Bobby. That just goes to show you, just because you claim something first, that doesn't mean it's yours. Clemson actually claimed the name Death Valley first. But in 1959, in the Sugar Bowl, LSU took their manhood with a dominating score of 7-0 and claimed Death Valley for their very own. So now, as everything of power resides in the SEC, Death Valley belongs to LSU, and Clemson is a bunch of ACC pansy pretenders. All right, next question. Pam from Swanee, Georgia. Is Georgia's biggest rival now Alabama? No, Pam, that is the Highway Patrol. Rico from Dillon, Texas. Hey, go Panthers. Hey, I love my Texas, and I've seen all these new graphics for the SEC come up. But one thing I've noticed, just who is Ole Miss's mascot? Well, Rico, I don't know if you saw Nate Bargatze's SNL skit, but Ole Miss's mascot is a lot like spelling the word Fahrenheit. Nobody knows. All right. And finally, we've got Katie from Ewan, Alabama. And that's not Ewan or Winfield. It's the U-Win. If you know, you know. So Katie says, hey, will Bryant-Denny Stadium bring back the real Denny dog? I come to Bama games for two things, whipping ass and Denny dogs, and we're all out of the real Denny dogs. That's actually a beautiful question, Katie. This speaks to my heart. For those that don't know, the real Denny dog is a concoction of mustard, ketchup, and kraut that they keep in a vat under the stadium all off season, only to be brought out during the season to put on the Denny dog. You know what it is because your brethren in the stadium, there's certain aromas that come out of the stadium. You're like, my buddy's had a Denny dog. Well, some asshat 3 years ago decided to take the real Denny dog from us, and they still put Denny dog in the stadium, but it's a hot dog with nothing on it. So look, here on the Bama Standard, I make a stand. On this St. Crispin's Day, I don't even know if it's a real day. I saw that in a movie and it kind of sounds cool. But on this St. Crispin's Day, Daniel Petty of the Bama Standard demand the powers of be at Alabama. And I know y'all love 3-word slogans to bring it back.
Bring
back the real Denny dog. Are we right? Because it's just not as fun kicking someone's ass if you don't have that kraut mustard concoction in your hand. That's all I got to say. Till next week, keep sending in the questions.
Petty bringing the fire and brimstone.
Hey, Petty, how you eat your hot dog? Like this? Like this? How you eat your hot dog?
Pause.
I just want to know, but you grab it by the butt. Like, how do you eat your hot dog?
You got to cut it with a knife, guys.
Yeah.
What? What?
I don't even know how to properly answer that. Like a grown ass man, I shove it in like I work in a porn studio.
Glizzies.
Petty eat glizzies. We call them glizzies.
We can call them DeBoer dogs since that Kalen DeBoer is coming back and call the sauerkraut saving sauerkraut. How about
Petty.
that?
Look, I don't care what they do. Just bring back my damn Denny dog the way I like it.
Petty.
That's so good.
Don't you be Denny dogs when you hanging out with me next weekend?
Well, I won't get to unless they've reinvented them.
Greg Byrne, Greg Byrne, bring back the Denny dog. So, guys, that's been one great show. We want to shout out everybody here on the Bama Standard. Follow the cast. But before we get to the cast, be sure to stay on the Bama Standard Network. Listen, we got a few more shows coming in. But tomorrow night, we got the Crimson Dynasty, C.C. Payne, Hannah Stevens, and the one and only Dan James. And right after that, we have Teague's Take, and we have Talking Football on Saturday here on the Bama Standard. We say all this to let you.
Red Zone Friday night, too, with Petty and Smoke.
Oh, Red Zone on Friday night. Listen, we got so much going on that you will not flip from the Bama Standard.
Actually, program alert, Mr. Cadell. Saturday night will now be the home of the Bama Standard post-game show immediately following the game. Saturday night Talking Bama has moved to Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. So adjust your programs, folks.
And who's the star of the post game show? Just to let everybody know, Justin.
Me.
Oh,
That's who.
Oh, he didn't answer, Dan.
Because it's me.
Wait,
He don't want to hurt his feelings.
He won't let me down. Still waiting.
Eddie, shout out your shows and how can people reach you before you start going streaking on Saturday on the quad?
You can reach me on the quad. Look for the naked, really white guy. I'm from Florida, so I've got a hell of a tank top tan. It won't be hard to miss. No, but man, you can always catch. I mean, first of all, I do have new shows starting on Monday nights. The opening kick. We've got Smoke, me, Hannah going off on all kind of topics that's SEC nationally related, talking about, the playoffs, everything you need to know that's going on in the country. And then Friday night, I've got the Red Zone. Hey, man, it's the Red Zone going in. We're going to talk about possible upsets, underdogs. We're going to have a gambler's corner for all you degenerates out there. Just everything you need to know going into Saturday while you're sitting there cooking out on a Friday night with a cocktail in your hand. But hey, where you really find me is on Tuesday night with the greatest gang on the planet, the Avengers. Every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. It's or not 8 Central, 9 Eastern. It's freaking football season, man. I couldn't be more excited to be sharing this time with you guys. And that's it, man. Petty_Daniel on Twitter if you want to catch me on socials, and PETTEY on Facebook if you want to come chastise me there. And keep those emails coming. I'll keep the question. I'll keep answering questions.
I love that. Luscion.
You know, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Luscion Graves. You can find me on X, 4RowLoose2 on X. It's the season, so I'm going to be hot on there. You know, we got a lot of exciting shows. You guys need to tune in. But most importantly, come back every Tuesday night, and you can find me on the greatest show, surrounded by the greatest cast, talking about the greatest football team, coached by the greatest coach in the country. You heard it first. Final whistle, y'all. Let's go.
Damn.
Yes. Y'all know where to catch me right here on this channel. You know what I'm saying? The #1 channel for all things Alabama. On Tuesday night, every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, right here, the final whistle. Wednesday nights, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, the Crimson Dynasty. And on Saturday nights, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's football season. You catch me on the Alabama post-game show. You know, catch me on Twitter at The Final Whistle Dan. And before y'all go any further, y'all hit that like and subscribe button so you get more of the Avengers.
Listen, you can follow me on the new show here on the Bama Standard called Cupcakes and Kleenex. Cupcakes is for the Ohio State soft cupcake schedule fans, and Kleenex is for all the Florida State fans. Ty Hayes, how can they find you? Sir.
Hey, you can find me everywhere. You can find me here. You can find me at Around the Table Sports. You can find me at the SEC Connect. You can find me at the Bleacher Report. You can find me Conference Call, College Football, Saturday mornings. You can find me on High Top Sports, evenings, Bleacher Report, Friday mornings, my channel, then Bleacher Report. Tuesday evenings here, Wednesday evenings, I'm everywhere.
All right, listen, Mr. Ty Hayes, he's Mr. Around the Table Sports. He's everywhere. Chris, how can they find you when you're not watching Huddle Film or teaching
They can
kids?
find me on Facebook, at Chris K. James Sr. They can find me on Twitter. X at Coach Chris James. You can find me on Instagram at _final_whistle_Chris. Final whistle Chris with underscores in between them. You can catch me at this Jamaican restaurant down the street. I'm about to go get some more oxtails because, boy, that thing busting. I know y'all saw my plate on Facebook of the oxtails that I dropped. I know y'all saw it. But when you can find me on Saturdays next to my brothers, Dan, I think Lou. Lou, you going to be a part of the post game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Petty, you part of the post game?
I'm there.
Yeah. And you can find me. Hey, you can get another look at us. You know we the best looking team in the business, baby. So you can get another look at us on Saturday. So so there it is, another update. So but yeah, catch me on that, and yeah, that's all I got. I'm trying to do a little Snapchat right now. I think it's just CJ or something. I don't know, but I'll get back with y'all on that when I start posting Bama material on Snapchat. But it's been real.
Well, listen, that's the panel. You know where to follow us each and every week, but be back next week here on the Bama Standard, on the Final Whistle, where we discuss week 1 and get ready to discuss South Florida. And we like to end on those 2 words.
Roll Tide.
Roll daggum tide.
Bitch,